And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
First at 11. Consumers spending nearly a month after the government lowered value-added tax on grocery store items. We learn about the preliminary data from the Department of Inland Revenue. Also a look back at a historical day, Black Tuesday, and the throwing out of the mace, reenacted within the walls of the lower chamber, this time by high school students. And more efforts to ensure the protection of low-income individuals. The central bank governor sharing how tonight. The Bahamas Tonight at 11 starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Royson Jones, and this is the Bahamas Tonight at 11. Welcome to the broadcast. Consumers nationwide continue to take advantage of the 5% value-added tax rate on grocery store items, while officials at the Department of Inland Revenue monitor just how much money is being spent. Here's what Inland Revenue's Acting Controller Shunda Strawn revealed on tonight's edition of The Rundown with Clint Watson.
We do expect that we will see a slight decrease in the amount of VAT collected. But of course, if we shore up in other areas, like collections of arrears, then we'll be fine. We shouldn't experience too much of a deficiency in the area of value-added tax.
Inland Revenue officials are still trying to wither down that $800 million in outstanding arrears.
We have quite a bit outstanding in real property tax, but we're also seeing some arrears in the value-added tax side of things, and we're very concerned about that because, of course, we see that as our taxpayers collecting the government's money,
but not turning it over
and holding it.
Oh, Lord.
So it's kind of like you're giving yourself a loan that wasn't approved.
Because that money don't belong to you.
Right. So a taxpayer, you and me and the guys out there, they would have given that money to you to hold for the government. So they paid the money to the business person, and it's the business person's responsibility to turn it over to the Department of Inland Revenue for the government.
Back in 2021, women secured 7 of the 39 seats in the House of Assembly. Today, those women are hoping to have even more join frontline politics, holding firm that it's necessary. Our Daniel Dean has the story.
Back in 2021, history was made when Ministers JoBeth Colby-Davis, Pia Glover-Roll, Patricia DeVoe, Leslie Miller-Bryce, Glenys Hannah Martin, Ginger Moxie, and Elisa Raming became part of the largest number of women ever elected into Parliament. On Tuesday at the Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians Workshop at Super Club Breezes, joined by female politicians from Nigeria, India, Samoa, and Sri Lanka, the Bahamian women highlighted their delight in celebrating the political accomplishments of women worldwide.
I want to make a diabolical move in Parliament itself. One of the things I like to say is this. I'm often attacked because of my style and my stance, but I believe that when we sit in the men's world, we have to conduct ourselves in a fashion that is like this, authoritative.
Speaker of the House, the Honourable Patricia DeVoe, says due to the impact that women have in politics, she'd like to see at least 15 women elected after the next general election. Minister of Energy and Transport, the Honourable JoBeth Colby-Davis, outlines this is what she and the international female members of Parliament aim to accomplish.
See economic empowerment of women, see more of us included at the table, the decision-making table, to help us to continue to build and grow our country. And I think it's important for me to be here and supporting my colleagues, Madam Speaker of the House and Madam President, just so they can see that the female parliamentarians in the Bahamas do believe in the economic empowerment of our women, and we support initiatives that put that work forward and want to be able to give our support where we can to make sure it continues.
Deputy Speaker of the Progressive National Party in Turks and Caicos, Jamaica Williams, also making her mark in our country's history books as the first woman to assume the role.
We just had a constitutional change, so we're now a full parliament. And I ran the elections first time, and I was victorious, having 3,911 voters who turned up and voted for me and my party, and we were successful at getting 16 of the 19 seats, and I was appointed the Deputy Speaker of the House, so it's a very humbling experience.
Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle team.
Thanks, Danielle. A historical event of significance that helped to change the political, social, and economic landscape of our country was reenacted this morning. All roads led to the House of Assembly for the special occasion. It was at this same location 60 years ago, April 27th, 1965, that Black Tuesday came about. During that parliamentary sitting, the late Right Honourable Sir Lyndon Pindling, the then opposition leader, addressing the House of Assembly on the topic of equality, became demonstrative in a power to the people move, throwing the mace, which represented a symbol of authority, out of the window of the House of Assembly. That action was immediately followed by the late Governor General Sir Milo Butler throwing the hourglass out of the window of the House of Assembly as well, much to the cheers of spectators who had gathered outside. This morning, students from combined schools reenacted the event, beginning at the House of Assembly and ending at the Southern Recreation Grounds. It's reported that from the House of Assembly, opposition members, along with the crowd, marched to the Southern Recreation Grounds for a pep rally. Today's commemoration of the 60th anniversary of Black Tuesday will undoubtedly hold particular meaning for the students who took part in the day's reenactment exercise. Students were chosen to portray several prominent figures from this significant moment, and our Corval Pyfrom caught up with two of today's leading actors.
This spectacular reenactment of that seminal day in our nation's history, these two young male students, Delon Evans, a 12th grader at Aquinas College, and QC 10th grader Grayson Roberts, took center stage in their leading roles in a scene from Black Tuesday 1965. And an exchange between the then leader of the minority party, the Progressive Liberal Party, a young Lyndon Pindling, and then Speaker of the House, Robert Simonet, of the United Bahamian Party.
It gave me an opportunity to showcase what our former leaders did for us, and it gave me an opportunity to reenact one of the more major players of our history, Sir Lyndon Pindling, the father of our nation.
As the Speaker of the House, that's the person who's in charge and making sure everyone's in order in the House, and of course on Black Tuesday, order wasn't exactly there, so it was really cool to, I guess I could say, to reenact that scene.
Both students say preparing for their roles entailed learning as much as they could about Black Tuesday and the events that led to it. They both say this experience has deepened their appreciation of this historic moment.
Got goosebumps, really, reenacting the whole scene. And I really do appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate the ministry for giving young people the opportunity to see their history in action.
And as, of course, the Prime Minister would have thrown out the mace and my power was pretty much gone. So it just goes to show that democracy is prevalent in our nation and that's how important it is.
And it's a safe bet neither will be forgetting this experience anytime soon.
For me, it was inspiring. It gave me great enthusiasm as I played in that role as Sir Lyndon Pindling.
Yeah, I've always dreamed of actually going to Parliament and watching a session, so to actually sit there and, reenact the scene or participate in different aspects of the House of Assembly was really special. And of course, to sit in the Speaker's seat, Patricia DeVoe's seat, was really special for me.
For the Bahamas Tonight, Access Now, I'm Corval Pyfrom.
Thanks, Corval. Black Tuesday was a special moment for Dame Marguerite Pindling, the former Governor General and widow of the former Prime Minister, the late Sir Lyndon Pindling, who was responsible for hurling the Speaker's mace out of the window of the House of Assembly back in 1965. Dame Marguerite was among the crowd gathered outside the House that day. She recalls most people were unaware of what was going to happen that day and only knew that it would be big. But what she says was even more daunting. There was a lot of uncertainty and concern about what would follow after the now infamous incident.
Bahamians that day, it was such a festive mood. You wouldn't have thought anything serious was taking place because, Bahamians, we're happy-go-lucky people. And they were having such a wonderful time. But the mere fact that Sir Lyndon was able to ask them to leave in such a quiet way, away from the scene, because anything could have happened. I could tell you because I was on the ground for the 4 hours that they were in the House of Assembly. But we thank God.
As crowds returned to the Southern Recreation Park this morning to remember the events of Black Tuesday, our education system started a new chapter, this time one entirely written by us and for us. Corval Pyfrom explains.
Along with marking the 60th anniversary of Black Tuesday, which symbolizes a seminal moment in Bahamian history, this was also a moment to unveil the first ever Bahamian-authored history textbook for secondary school students.
Let us be clear. This is not just about a textbook. This is about decolonizing our minds.
Prime Minister Philip Davis again using a familiar phrase. As long as the lion learns how to write, every story will be glorified by the hunter. The new textbook, written by 12 acclaimed Bahamian authors, represents a paradigm shift in our education system. The new textbook, called Toward a Common Loftier Goal, is being introduced to students in senior high school.
And so I say to every student who will crack open these pages, learn it, own it, love it, see yourself in it, be proud of it, add your own chapter to it.
We want our young people to burst through mediocrity and break new ground.
This project is being hailed as the brainchild of Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin.
This new history text, in case you haven't seen it, we hope will help our young people to garner a greater sense of self and engender a deeper understanding of who they are and what they are and where they must go, and to incite a critical analysis of their own contextual reality.
The history text covers a wide range of themes, from pre-independence right on up to contemporary history. It follows strict academic guidelines, and getting it across the finish line, says Steering Committee co-chair Dr. Chris Curry, meant crossing over many hurdles.
Where we as a nation could celebrate the launch of a history text that is both comprehensive in scope and content, yet reliable, relatable, engaging, enriching, stimulating, and student-friendly.
The textbook is expected to be placed in schools this coming school year, just as the country's education curriculum undergoes a revision, the first since 1982. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pfeiffer.
Thanks, Corvell. Still to come, another housing subdivision unveiled. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. More news in just a moment.
Imagine a world where every brand knows your name and every store awaits your arrival. Elite shopping, travel where luxury is a lifestyle and every journey feels like home. Dine where every flavor is just for you, every table reserved, and every moment a taste of perfection. Make every big moment even bigger. Experience banking where wealth isn't just managed, it's maximized. Step into a world without limits. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks, so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our services are affordable and accessible. Take the mystery, confusion, and fear out of your immigration concerns. Contact Immigration Care Service today.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
Talking finances, Central Bank Governor John Rowell says efforts continue to ensure more measures are in place in the banking sector to protect low-income individuals. He acknowledges it's a necessary move to promote more inclusive financing in the industry.
For us, one of the priorities is to make progress in introducing a basic savings or transactional account where it would carve out some protections against the range of fees for those who have limited financial means.
Governor Rowell says they're also looking at ways to improve service levels in the sector as more customers choose alternative channels to complete transactions.
Having customers use those alternative channels, we are also focused on making certain that no one is excluded from access through those channels. We are not going to be able to distance ourselves from the fact that it is very costly to provide financial services in the Bahamas. This is a country of 400,000 people. We sometimes overlook that fact. And so we have to also put continued effort into tackling the cost of getting the services to the population.
A significant milestone for 14 Bahamians who are now homeowners thanks to Arawak Homes. The residents receiving keys to their brand new homes during a private ceremony in the Carmichael constituency Monday afternoon. Our Desmond Saunders was there and filed this report.
A gleeful moment for 14 Bahamians who now occupy the newly constructed units built by Arawak Homes.
It's quiet, only 14 homes, and it's out the way. So there's going to be a very close-knit community in here, and literally there's only people who live in here need to come in here.
The single-story family structures will be outfitted with modern amenities and features, and President of Arawak Homes, Fernand Wilson, could not be more satisfied.
We are so excited. We're opening our newest community named after a contractor who has been working for more than 40 years.
The newly constructed home sits on James Hamilton Close, a new housing subdivision created by Arawak Homes off Carmichael Road, named in honor of veteran Bahamian contractor James Hamilton.
Mr. Hamilton is one example from the construction sector of someone who has been at a craft specialized for more than 40 years and providing homes for people to actually move in. And so that is one of the reasons why we thought that he would be fitting to be an example of someone from the construction sector to honor in this way.
Well, it made me feel very proud, me and my family. It shows that dedicate yourself to anything you want to be or anything you want to deal with in life, and the end results would come out positive.
Now, this new subdivision by Arawak Homes, part of a continuing effort to provide affordable home ownership to thousands of Bahamians. A new subdivision presently under construction in the Prince Charles area will be available to residents in the coming weeks. Desmond Saunders of Bahamas Tonight.
Thanks, Desmond. 150 boys between the ages of 12 and 19 years old from across the country will be flying into the capital for the first ever Governor General's Boys Conference and Retreat. Permanent Secretary Jack Thompson says it's the brainchild of current Governor General Dame Cynthia Pratt.
One of the reasons why we're having it here as opposed to a hotel is Her Excellency is of the view that some of our boys just see this pink wall. They've never even thought in their wildest dreams about coming inside the precincts of Government House. And so we thought that to come in here would mean a lot. In recent times, our boys, particularly our boys, have been struggling with a number of issues, and I mean it's in the public domain. But a lot of our young boys need to just be encouraged, need to be inspired, need to hear a different voice from what they've been hearing in their particular domain or area. And so Her Excellency thought that perhaps we ought to invite them here to be encouraged.
His retreat kicks off on Friday at 8 a.m. at Government House.
This is not a conference excuse me, where we will just speak and speak and talk and talk and talk. But it will be a conference where young persons will be able to speak to us and tell us what they have on their minds. Some of the nation's most inspiring leaders will address the boys. Some of the topics to be addressed include personal grooming and its importance. How do we present ourselves?
Almajal Knowles has a look at what's coming up in sports tonight. Almajal?
Buddy Buckets with another big performance in a Warriors win. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this
bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Congratulations to the Bahamian Carifta track and field and swim teams from the sponsors of the ZNS Radio and TV Carifta Update.
Welcome to your Tuesday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. Buddy Hield and the Golden State Warriors won a thriller in San Francisco on Monday night over the Houston Rockets to take a 3-1 lead in their first-round playoff series. The Dubs would prevail with a 109-106 victory. For Buddy Buckets, he would have another solid performance in his first career playoff start. Would pour in 15 points in this one, going 3 of 9 from behind the arc. Would finish the game with a rating of plus 17 in his 30 minutes of play. But while Buddy's known for his sharp shooting, last night was about his defensive efforts, and giving him praise for his play on that end would be Warriors head coach Steve Kerr.
I'm going to utter some words that have never been spoken before by anybody on earth. Buddy Hield, you set the tone defensively. I'm going to say it again, though, before the end of the playoffs. Yeah. But you can guard, and you did that tonight. Hell of a job. You know there's a lot of work left, but this is right where we want to be because you guys are competing. One turnover in the second half. That's the whole key. Right? We just had that one stretch in the second quarter. It gave them life, but if we can take care of the ball throughout the game, just keep getting shots on goal. And we're going to figure some things out, too, based on, we know they're going to play Adams and Shengun a lot next game. We got the tape. We'll figure some things out about how to handle that, but hell of a job.
Switching gears in track and field news for just the second time in the event's short history, the Bahamas will not field a team for the World Athletics World Relays, the 2025 installment of the event set to take place in Guangzhou, China next month. We spoke with B3A's president, Jamaica Archer, who gave us this explanation.
Relays is always a Bahamian delight. Unfortunately, the Bahamas will not be participating in the upcoming World Relays that will be taking place in 2025. And it's really because, we simply didn't have access to the talent pool that we have offshore. Many of our athletes that would have been named to the team are still, they still have collegiate commitments. We are learning that there are some who are on the injury list, and then there are some who are still pending immigration review and approval for visas. So when you look at the full circumstances, we realize that we simply wouldn't have a competitive team sufficient enough to compete at that level. And so we'll wait for the World Championships and any event that leads up to it to see if we can qualify our relay teams. And we're positive that Team Bahamas will have a strong showing in Tokyo this year, but we will not be contesting a team at the World Relays this year.
And the Carifta track and swimming team set to visit the House of Assembly tomorrow morning after their stellar performances in Trinidad and Tobago this past Easter weekend. Of course, the track team finishing with 37 total medals, including 16 gold, the second most for the Bahamas in the history of the Games. And of course, Bahamas Aquatics winning an unprecedented 7th straight Carifta swimming title. The public is encouraged to come out and support the athletes while wearing the colors of the flag. And it's not necessarily a new sport, but it's one in its infancy stages here in the Bahamas. And for a group of local enthusiasts, they're hoping to get it implemented in our school system sooner rather than later. Our Charles Fisher giving us the rest of the details in this report.
A handful of physical education instructors, mostly from the primary school, taking part in the week-long course being conducted by instructors from the International Handball Federation at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. President of the newly formed Bahamas Handball Federation, Wellington Miller, on how this came about.
You know, handball is a new sport in the Bahamas, and we wrote the International Handball Association asking them for a course because we want to start it in the school, from primary to high school, primary to junior to high school, and this is what we're getting here this week from now until Friday. From Andros to Exuma, hopefully one from Grand Bahama coming to be a part of it, so it's going to grow. I think the root part of it is getting it into school. Once we get it there, it's good to go.
Most of the attention on the primary level.
Primary level is what's going to cause it to grow, because as they move into junior high school to take it up there, high school to take it up there, we have junior high school and high school coaches here. And, you know, we're asking, too, all of those other players who on various teams who can't make the cut of the team, come on and join handball and be a part of history.
The first 2 days of the clinic is theory, and the next 3 will be practical. Then the instructors will take their knowledge into the schools and pass it on. Clara Starr, primary school physical education officer.
I see it as a good sport to integrate. It's an Olympic sport, and I think it gives our students more opportunity to advance in the athletic arena. Also, it's an international sport. They will get a lot of exposure, and it's a simple, to me, integration of what we already do in our core subjects.
Once again, the course will wrap up on Friday at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. For ZNS Whole Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
That's one look at your sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
Congratulations to the Bahamian Carifta track and field and swim teams from the sponsors of the ZNS Radio and TV Carifta Update.
Your home is your sanctuary. The last thing you need to worry about is rodents. Once they enter your property, they can be tough to get out. If you're concerned about rodents, call Rent-A-Kill initially. We offer the latest, most effective treatment for safe, fast, and long-lasting results. From prevention to elimination, our integrated approach guarantees protection. For rodent control you can trust, there's only one name in the Bahamas. Rent-A-Kill Initial.
It's time now for a weather check with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Royce. We had that backdoor front went through this morning. It triggered 1 or 2 passing showers over the northwestern parts of the country. And as we can see on our live weather radar, we still have some of those showers to the southwest of Andros, and it is moving towards the southwest. And that is what makes this a backdoor front. That is that flow from the northeast towards the southeast with relatively cool air. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Live Business, where we simply bulk up your business in the northwestern islands tonight through Wednesday. Easterly winds 12 to 18 knots. The wave height 3 to 6 feet, so caution flags are in place for the northwest Bahamas into Wednesday. High tide, that will take place at 10:08 tonight with another high tide at 10:29 tomorrow morning. Now for the central and southeastern islands into Wednesday, those winds northeast to east 15 to 20 knots, wave heights 4 to 7 feet, so the caution flag extends into the central and southeastern islands through Wednesday. As we take into Thursday, the winds fall off quite nicely, becoming easterly at 10 to 15 knots, so we will drop those caution flags on Thursday for you boaters in the northwestern parts of the country. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. The high tide on Thursday, 11:25 in the morning with the low tide at 5:30 in the afternoon for the central and southeastern islands on Thursday. Northeast to east winds 12 to 18 knots, slight reduction there. Wave heights down 3 to 6 feet, but we will continue to keep that caution flag in place for the central and southeastern islands on Thursday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
This your boy, Sean. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I do this for we, I do this for culture. I do this for you, just to show that I love ya. Don't mind anybody else, you got to drink for yourself.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Insurance. But taking a second look at our live weather radar, still have some showers just to the west of Andros, and that's being advected towards the southwest. And your temperatures around the islands, 71 degrees in Marshall, Abaco, Greentown Key, 75 degrees. Also Freeport, Grand Bahama at 75, the Berry Island 75 as well. Allenstown, Bimini, 78 degrees, 74 in Harbor Island. Roxanne, Eleuthera, 71, and Artisan, Cadalla, 71 as well. Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space, South Andros, reporting 75. Fresh Creek, Central Andros at 74. 71 in San Salvador and Rum Key. Georgetown, Exuma, 4 degrees up at 75 degrees, and then we get some 73s in Ragged Island, Clarence Island, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay may go on to 76, Ackland 76, Matthewtown, Inag with a warm spot this evening at 82 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 79 degrees. Satellite pictures showing that ribbon of clouds floating through Cat Island and wrapping around the Florida Keys, and that is pretty much where that frontal boundary is. And your forecast tonight, clear to partly cloudy, still on the breezy side, with the low temperature getting down to a comfortable 70 degrees. And tomorrow we're looking at partly sunny and breezy again. High temperature, 80 degrees, extended weather forecast. Beautiful weather right through Saturday, but come Sunday, we'll get a couple of sprinkles in the mix. But on Monday, we'll see more scattered showers with gray skies, and those showers could be locally heavy at times on Monday. But that will be short-lived, as by Tuesday, the skies open up once again. Temperature-wise, low 80s right through Saturday, but we'll start peaking at 86 degrees on Sunday. Nighttime temperatures not bad at all. They will remain very comfortable. We'll keep them in the low 70s for you for the next 7-day cycle. Royston.
Comfortable sounds very good. Thank you so much, Basil. Well, that's going to do it for the Bahamas tonight at 11. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. Thank you for watching, and good night.
At Tonic Williams Darling Highway, I'm Tijaro Hudson. This is ZNS.